Now Uganda will take on Rwanda in tomorrow's Cecafa Senior Challenge Cup final, which will be in Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. Now, Rwanda had to see off Sudan 4-2 on penalties to make to the final, while Uganda Cranes beat host Ethiopia 5-3 on penalties to make it to the final. Joining me here is my colleague and sports producer Robert Madoi to just shed more light on the game tomorrow. Robert, do you think it will be business as usual for the Uganda Cranes?
Well, Joel, it didn't look like business as usual when the Cranes commenced their campaign this time round. They were outclassed 2-0 by the Kenyans in their opening group fixture, and many people were quick to write them off. They thought that the Cranes would make up the numbers this time round, but the Cranes did manage to dig themselves out of a hole. They went on a run, winning all their games. They didn't concede any goals, and they go into tomorrow's game as favorites, you would say. The key thing about them is the defense. They haven't shipped any goals since that Kenya debacle. One adjustment that Coach Mitchell, that's Multin Mitchell Srdovic, managed to make was he put out Shafiq Bakaki, the young defender who dropped many clangers in the game against Kenya, and brought in Richard Kasaga, a big left-footed defender. And the left-footed part of the Cranes defense, which seemed to be the side's Achilles heel, seems to have been repaired. Milton Mitchell Srdovic has opted to use Isaac Muleme, who drops back and kind of fills those gaps when Ochai has ventured in front.
All right, and we've seen these two sides face off in the same competition in the past. Do you think Rwanda fancy their chances against the Cranes?
Well, Rwanda has its work cut out because Uganda seems to have Rwanda's number. These two sides have met in two Cecafa Cup finals in 2009 and 2011, and on both occasions Uganda has managed to come out top. Ironically, the last time they met in a final, that was in 2011. Coach Milton Mitchell Srdovic was in the Rwanda dugout, and he was outwitted by Bobby Williamson. Yes. So this time around, you'd say that Rwanda, has they've made one or two changes, to their backroom staff. They have a coach, from Northern Ireland, and they still have their talismanic captain and midfielder, that's Haruna Nyonzima, who can cause, Cranes lots of problems. But you should say that, Cranes has a lot, in their arsenal, to see off the Rwandans.
All right, and what positives do you think the Uganda Cranes can take from this year's championships?
Yes, Joel, there are so many positives that Uganda can take from this year's championship. Mitchell came into this championship with a young squad that he intends to use at next year's African Nations Championship, which will take place in Kigali, Rwanda. He says that he wants to give, or he came into this championship wanting to give these young players a lot of game time for them, such that they can know what it takes to play at the highest level. And aside from Murshid Joko, all the players who have figured in the championship in Ethiopia this time round are players who will be used at the CHAN. So you tend to think that this will bode well for the Cranes, that the players have gotten lots of experience from this championship, and when they go to face the sides that they're going to face in the CHAN next time round, they'll have the bit between their teeth. Just to remind the viewers, Uganda is in a group together with Zimbabwe, Zambia and Mali, and Mitchell has set himself the target of making it out of the group. The last time he took Uganda to the CHAN, that was in 2014, he managed to get a win. Uganda beat Burkina Faso 2-0 with Eunice Sentamo grabbing both those goals. They went on to draw their next fixture, that was against Zimbabwe. They needed a draw in their last group fixture against Morocco to make it out of the group, but they were outclassed, they were beaten 3-1. So this time around, Mitchell says he intends to take Uganda out of the group, and I think, by giving most of these players game time in Ethiopia, they won't have, that stage fright in Rwanda.
Thank you very much, Robert Madoi. Robert Madoi there. Now, tomorrow, will it be the Amavubi of Rwanda or the Uganda Cranes that takes the day? We can only wait and see, but what we do know is that the kickoff time will be 3:45 p.m. from Addis Ababa in Ethiopia.